Hi there. Today we're going to be looking at percentage increase and decrease. We're also going to look quickly at VAT, value added tax, starting with percentage increase. So my first question is I'm going to say that James is 140 centimetres tall. He's going to grow by 5% in 1 year. So I want to know what his increase in height is and what is his new height. How tall is he now? Okay, so I really like this method. It's very simple, and I use it mostly when I'm looking at percentage increase and decrease. It's called original, change, new. Okay, so I always write those three little headings: original, change, and new. And then I fill in the gaps. So I know that the original, my original is always 100%. My change is that he's grown by 5%. So he has got bigger, taller by 5%. So plus 5%. So his new percentage is 105%. I know that he started at 140 centimetres, so that is my original. And I want to calculate my change and my new. So firstly, we want to find what 5% of 140 centimetres is. So we want to find 5% of 140 centimetres. Now, from my previous lesson, you'll know there's a couple of different methods. This time I'm going to use the method that I'm going to say that 100% is 140 centimetres. It's exactly what we've said here. 100% is 140 centimetres. I can therefore divide by 10. So I can say, that 10% is 14 centimetres, and I can divide by 2 to find my 5% is 7 centimetres. So dividing by 2 tells me that my 5% is 7 centimetres. So my change is a positive change of 7 centimetres. So I've got my original, I've got my change. I can work out that my new height is 147 centimetres. Let's do the same again, but this time with a percentage decrease. Okay, so let's say it's a nice hot sunny day and the little ice cream kiosk in Wanstead Park sells 1,200 ice creams on a Sunday. But the people who order in the ice creams, they need to make sure they've got enough so they don't run out. But they know the next day is a Monday, and on Mondays they typically sell 30% less. So let's use that same system again. Original, change, and new. Again, I'm just going to quickly underline those. Keep it nice and neat so I understand what I'm doing. Remember, my original is my 100%. But this time, on Monday, I'm selling less. So my change this time is negative. 100% subtract 30% means that my new percentage is going to be 70%. Let's look at the information I've got. I've sold 1,200 ice creams on a Sunday. I want to reduce that by 30%. So I need to find 30% of 1200. Let's write it down as we did with question 1. I want to find 30% of 1200. This time I'm going to use my other method. You may recall I write 30% as a fraction, 30 over 100, and then I'm going to multiply it by the number of ice creams, 1200. And I think I'll do a little bit of simplifying to make my life easier. I'm also going to write that as 1200 over 1 to make sure that I don't make any mistakes when I multiply it out. So I can simplify here. 30 over 100 simplifies to 3/10. And also I can do a little bit of cross cancelling here. So I can divide 1200 by 10 and the 10 that was remaining by 10. So I've now got 3 lots of 120 over 1 multiplied by 1. So I've got 360. That's not my answer. That's my change, my reduction in sales. So I need to subtract 360 because my change is that I sell 30% less. So I have 1200. I'm subtracting 360. That gives me 840 ice creams that I sell on a Monday. Now, one thing that's really nice with this is there's a really lovely way to check. If you know what 30% of 1200 is, I could work out 70% of 1200. So 70 over 100 multiplied by 1200 over 1. Going to cancel down again. I'm left with 7 lots of 120 over 1. 7 12s are 84, so that's 840 over 1, 840. So I can check. I know that 30% plus 70% is going to give me 100%. And 360 plus 840 gives me my 1200. So I've checked my own work and I know I've got the correct answer. The other thing I can just mention is that I could draw this as a bar model. It's always nice if you can visually represent what you're doing as well. So let's have a look at what we've got here. All right, so all of the ice creams that I sold on the Sunday are 1200 and I want 30%. I know that 30% is my reduction and 70% is how many I'm therefore going to sell on Monday. So I can split this up into 10. Once again, I probably should have drawn it out earlier, but there you go. Gives you time to draw it down as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know that if I've got 1200 in total and I'm sharing it equally into these 10 equal parts, I'm going to write 120 in each one. So I've got 120 in each of my 10 equal parts. And now visually it's really nice that you can see that 30% is 3 lots of 120, which is my 360. And 70% is 7 lots of 120, which is my 840. Okay, so hopefully that's also a really nice way of visually representing it. Right, we're just going to quickly look at VAT. So, just whilst we're writing down the heading, it's called value added tax. We tend to call it VAT or VAT for short. Now you'll find most things that you buy in the shops already have the VAT added. It's kind of invisible, and you don't necessarily know how much of what you're buying, what proportion of that is tax. However, sometimes if you go somewhere like Costco, some of you might have been to Costco, they will price everything without the VAT, excluding VAT, and then the VAT gets added on at the till. So my first example, I'm going to buy a t-shirt, and I'm going to buy it in Costco. And the reason, they're a wholesaler, so they tend to sell to businesses rather than individuals, although individuals can become members. So £15 excluding VAT. So I want to know how much does my t-shirt cost including VAT. So that's my question. How much is my t-shirt going to cost including VAT? I'm going to use exactly the same method. Original, change, and new. My original is my 100%. My change is VAT. Now, if the question will specify the VAT rate to use. At the moment, in the UK, that rate is 20%. Okay, so we need to add on, and you'll be given that piece of information. We're going to add on 20%, so my new percentage is 120%. My t-shirt originally, excluding VAT, before the VAT has been added, is £15. I want to work out what 20% is. So I know that the whole amount, 100%, is £15. So I can work out that 10% is £1.50, and therefore 20%, if I double £1.50, gives me £3. So my change is an increase in £3. So my new price, the cost including VAT, is £18. Now there is a really nice shortcut that we can use. Because we know that the new percentage is 120%, we can go straight from 100% to 120%. So the shortcut we can do, if we just asked what the new price is we can say that it's 120%, so 120 over 100 multiplied by the original price, which is £15. Now I might do a little bit of simplifying here. So let's write that as 12 over 10 multiplied by 15 over 1. I could just multiply that out, but I'm going to do a little bit more cross cancelling. I could simplify that as well. But in this case, I'm just going to divide 15 and 10 by 5. That gives me 3 and 2. So my numerator, 12 multiplied by 3 is 36. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. So my new price is going to be £18. So I've checked £18. And again, you don't need me because you can mark your own. Last question. As I said, in most shops, VAT is already included in the price. So let's say I'm going to buy a sofa. And let's say it costs £600, including VAT. I want to know how much was the VAT. Now be really careful here, because we don't want to think, well, I know that the VAT is 20%. So I know that 20% of 600, well, 10% would be 60, so 20% must be 120. It must be £120. Okay, £120 is wrong. Now that might seem a bit confusing because we've just worked out 20% of £600 is 120. Well, let's follow this same process of original change new to understand why £120 is wrong. So again, let's just get into the habit of writing out those headings. I think I've written them out 4 times. So if I can do it, then you guys can as well. So my original percentage is 100%. I know that my VAT is 20%. And my new is 120%. So this is the really, really important bit. The cost of £600 includes the VAT. So that £600 needs to go in the new column, not in the original column. So my £600 goes here. So now I need to work backwards. I need to work out what my change is, and I need to work out what my original is. So look how it's subtly different when I write out. Here I wrote 100% is £15. This time I'm going to write 120% is £600. Now let's see how I know I need to get back to 100%. So I'm thinking I could divide by 12 to get 10%, or I could divide by 6 and get 20%. So I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides. Now again, if you're not sure, you can break it down. You could divide by 2 and then divide by 3. You don't have to do it all in one go, but 120% divided by 6 gives me my 20%. So it just means I've got slightly less work to do. £600 divided by 6 gives me £100. So now it's fairly straightforward to get to my 100% because I know I've got to multiply by 5. So 20 multiplied by 5 gives me 100%. And 100 multiplied by 5 gives me £500. So my original price, my price excluding VAT, was £500. My change, my plus 20%, was £100. 500 plus 100 give me my £600. So please do not ever get into the trap of just working out 20%. If the price is including the VAT and the VAT is 20%, that £600 is 120%. It's not the original amount. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.